So, you found your dream apartment in New York City, you negotiated the purchase price, and you're ready for closing. The truth is, the purchase price is just the beginning. There are so many hidden costs that's going to occur during closing. And in this video, I'm going to make sure it's not hidden to you. My name is Chris Jordan. I'm a luxury real estate agent, and I help buyers navigate one of the most competitive markets in the world right here in New York City. And in this video, I'm going to make sure you're ready for closing. Let's talk numbers. The first big hidden tax that we're going to talk about is the mansion tax. Now, the mansion tax kicks in at $1 million, so anything below $1 million, don't pay the mansion tax, but the mansion tax kicks in at $1 million, and it's something we call a progressive tax, so it goes up depending on the purchase price. This video, we're going to keep it at $2 million because that is very close to the median here in New York City, and it's just an easier number for me, I'll be honest. That's probably the main reason. So, with a $2 million home, right? The mansion tax is going to be 1.25%. So 1.25% of 2 million is going to be 25,000. So right off the bat, the first tax that you'll have to worry about is the mansion tax for 25,000. Now, the mortgage recording tax is 1.925% for anything 500,000 over. So we're going to just use that number for now. If it's lower, it is a little bit less, I believe 1.8%. The mortgage recording tax can be a little bit tricky, so I'm gonna do my best to explain it. The mortgage recording tax is not taxed on the purchase price. It is taxed on the mortgage you take out. So again, we're gonna use that $2 million number, right? Let's say you got a $2 million home, you're going for a $2 million home, but you're putting 20% down. 20% of 2 million is 400,000. So you're only taxed on the 1.6 million. So 1.925 of 1.6 million will be 30,000. So the mortgage recording tax, if the numbers are just like we spoke about, will be 30,000. Now, of course, if you're paying all cash, you also avoid this tax. So to wrap up the two big hidden taxes, we got the mansion tax, which is going to be 25,000. Then we got the mortgage recording tax, which is going to be 30,000, 30,800 just to be exact, all right? So right there, we got, what is that? We got about 55,000, all right? But let's move on. The next thing we're going to talk about is attorney fees. I know in some other parts of New York, and maybe even in some states, attorney fees are not mandatory. In New York City, attorney fees are mandatory, and that's going to run you about $3,000 to $5,000. Pretty cut and dry there, okay? All right, let's talk title insurance. This is only for condo and townhouse owners. Co-op owners avoid this cost, okay? Title insurance is so nobody will claim ownership of your apartment, ownership of the title. For people that's taking out a loan that's going to a lender and financing, it's mandatory. Now, if you're paying all cash, it's not mandatory, but I would strongly recommend it. And I even had, sometimes people ask questions, oh, well, if you're doing a new development, the title should be clean, you're right, but sometimes liens, you just want to, if you, again, I always just give the information and you can do what you want, but if you're buying an apartment, 2 million and higher, north of 2 million, the title insurance is usually 10,000 max. 8, 9, but 10 max, okay? So you probably want to pay 10,000 to protect yourself so you can sleep well at night instead of, not paying that, even if you're paying cash, but everybody make their own decision in regards to that. Cash buyers is not mandatory, strongly recommended. If you're financing, a lender will not lend to you without protecting the title. The thing we want to talk about is move-in and board applications. So move-in deposits and board applications, it all depends. Even co-op board applications can vary. Sometimes, deposits are refundable. But for this, we're going to say those range from $500 to 2,000. I don't think it should be no higher than 2,000. So from 500 to 2,000 for move-in deposits and co-op board applications. Now, let's talk about some new development surprises. Because in New York City, we always getting new developments. And this probably should have been in the front with the big tax surprises, but let's talk about it now. This is called a transfer tax. So if you're buying a condo, townhouse from what we call a resale, you do not have to pay this. This only applies if you're buying from the sponsor, all right? The sponsor put the transfer tax on the buyer, and the transfer tax is 1.825%. So for a $2 million home, that's about $36,000. So that's $36,000, all right? Again, if it's a resale and somebody already bought that apartment from the developer, you do not have to pay that transfer tax. But if you're buying, if you're buying from the sponsor, the transfer tax is put on the buyer, and that is $36,000, all right? Now, let's not talk about any negotiation, because it's negotiable, right? Sometimes they'll pay half, you'll pay half. It's definitely negotiable. But for this video only, we're gonna talk about it like you're paying the entire transfer tax, and it's 1.825%. And again, we're using 2 million as our number, so that would be 36,000, okay? Other new development surprise can be sometimes they do collect 1 to 2 months of common charges. If you're not familiar with common charges, just please watch my condos versus co-op video just to get up to speed what common charges is. But sometimes condos do require 1 to 2 months of common charges just for reserves. Since we're talking about common charges, let's go to post-closing costs just for a moment. You know, I always try to get people ready for everything they need to know. So let's very briefly talk about post-closing costs. No, definitely have reserves for common/maintenance charges. Again, maintenance for co-op, commons for condos. If you're not familiar with that, just please watch my condo versus co-op video. But those can run you $1,000 a month on top of your mortgage. So definitely be ready for that. Definitely don't be surprised with post-closing costs, okay? Also part of post-closing costs, you know, condo, townhouse owners need insurance, homeowners insurance, and co-op owners need contents insurance. So that's something else for your post-closing. And I remember, quick story. Remember, I was helping a gentleman, and he never rented. He went straight into buying, and we always joked about the little things he didn't realize he needed, like something as small as shower curtains, right? Definitely just, you know, take a second, reflect on the things you may need, and put that in your cost. Also, but if you need shower curtains, I'll get you shower curtains. Just shoot me an email. Also, if I wasn't in real estate, I'd probably be in the furniture business, because furniture is very, very expensive. And if you buy a nice condo here in New York City, you probably want nice furniture. So definitely do your research on things like furniture. Nothing is too small when you buy an apartment, townhouse, co-op. When you buy a co-op condo or townhouse, everything should be on your mind. And this is just me getting some thoughts going. Hopefully you're jotting it down and really start doing your research on this. When I speak to people about buying, I don't tell them all this up front, but definitely start doing your research. So when that time comes and you move in your apartment, there's no surprises. That's the number one thing. You never ever want surprises. All right, let's recap. So we got finance versus all cash. First thing we spoke about was the mansion tax. Both pay that. Cash or finance, you have to pay the mansion tax. So we got 1.25% of 2 million, which got us to 25,000. And again, I'm sure you guys know you can move these numbers around depending on the purchase price. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the mortgage recording tax. Now, if you're paying with all cash, you're free of that. Now, if you are financing, remember we said the loan amount is what gets taxed at 1.925%. So we're using standard number, 20% is pretty standard. 2 million is the number we're using. 20% of 2 million is 400,000 on a down payment. So you're taking out a $1.6 million loan. 1.925% of 2 million is 30,800. So if you're financing, the mortgage recording tax is 30,800, and you're free from it if you're paying all cash. Let's finish up the finance, because I don't want to give too much information and talk about both to confuse people, even though I will be writing it on the screen. But let's finish up the finance section. Attorney and bank fees. Remember we said the attorney is going to be $3,000 to $5,000, and you're going to have some bank fees. So that's going to leave us at 7,000 plus, right? And then we got title insurance. We spoke about that. That's going to be 8,000 to 10,000. Now on to the all cash. Of course, you don't have any bank fees because you won't be dealing with a bank, but you still have the attorney fees, which is going to be 3,000 to 5,000. Title insurance. Remember, it's optional, but Chris Jordan would strongly recommend it, and that's going to be 8,000 to 10,000. Okay, so I hope this was very, very clear. So all in all, if you're going to be financing, closing costs is going to run you around 70,000. I don't, of course, as you know from this video, I'm sure you all are very intelligent. You can work some numbers, but it's going to be in the range of 70,000. We're going to say 70,000 plus. And then if you're doing all cash, it's going to be 30 to 40,000 plus. Again, the wide range, because there's some things that are just optional for you, but 30 to 40 should be a good range, okay? Now, I hope this was all clear. If you have any additional questions, because I didn't really get into the intricates. I didn't want to get into the intricates just to make this video as clear as possible. But if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email here. My name is Chris Jordan. I'm a luxury real estate agent here in New York City. And I know people learn different ways, so I got this all in writing. If the video, if you don't like my suit, you don't like the mic, you don't like the surrounding area, I got this all in writing. It will be in this bio, and I will put it in the comments. I will pin it. So this will all be in writing, and it's easy, maybe easier to follow. But thank you for joining me. If you're interested in unit tours, the buying process, and neighborhood guides, please subscribe. If not, thank you for getting this far with me, and best of luck on your buying process. And if you have any questions about New York City, you can always shoot me an email. Chris Jordan.